Welcome everyone to another episode of How the Hell Did This Go #1? So if you're following us in a linear fashion, you might be thinking, I thought we were doing Cyndi Lauper. We are, eventually. I've put together I didn't put together, but there's a wonderful Cyndi Lauper crew who eventually will be doing something with us. But I had to sort of like pull an audible and I said, hey, Brad, you're up next. So I said, hey, I called you, maybe.
Yeah,
see what I did there?
I see what you did there.
Hey, give me something because it's your turn. What did you give us?
I gave us some Carly Rae Jepsen, of course, because she's a good Canadian girl and she's a good BC girl. And what turns out to be actually really kind of neat is she and I were both born in the same small town.
I thought you would have went with Brian Mello. Do you know who that is?
Brian Mello?
Yes.
Didn't they do the song No Rain?
I don't know.
That's Blind Melon.
Oh, right. It's Blind Melon.
No, but Brian Mello beat Carly Rae in Canadian Idol. And here's something.
And where is he now?
Here's something I found fascinating because we did this sort of short notice. So I was at my local bar, which you can sort of visit if you're ever in Winnipeg. It's called Lake of the Woods.
More product placement.
Yes, the official sponsor of Not in Hall of Fame and everything that we do here. And none of them knew, they all knew the song, but none of them knew that Carly Rae was a Canadian and that she lost in Canadian Idol to this guy.
Third place.
Well, okay, obviously, Brad, you knew this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I didn't know it until now. I actually didn't ever see her Canadian Idol debut.
Who did?
Well, I went back and I looked at it.
Okay, yeah.
And I will say this, if you like Carly Rae Jepsen, just don't look at it. It's not good.
So fun story from before Carly Rae Jepsen, before Call Me Maybe. She was getting some airplay from her Canadian Idol stuff. And apparently she was all over the radio waves in Canada, which is probably entirely because of CanCon. But if you don't know what CanCon is, there's
it's because of me.
No, I'm listening to the story. I know where she's going, and I love this story.
Go on.
So there's a requirement in Canadian radio that you have to play a certain percentage of Canadian music. So sometimes if something's even just the slightest bit popular, it gets massively overplayed.
So anybody who works at CanCon is responsible for Nickelback. I blame them. I'm still sorry as a Canadian that we unleashed that eldritch horror upon the world.
Which will tie into another story I heard just today.
But let's just go back to Carly Rae for a second here. So she's getting some Canadian radio airplay and working as a restaurant server. And she was working as a
waitress in a cocktail bar.
God, it was more like. So she's got this table of about a dozen people. I think they're American, but they'd been camping in Canada for a couple of weeks. And they were talking about her, having no idea that she was their server, and basically going on about how terrible the music was, but they all learned it and they were all singing along in the car, even though it was just the worst pop trash. And she was really nervous at first, kind of pretending, hoping they didn't recognize her, which they wouldn't because it was just radio. And then she apparently went to her boss and was like, these people, they know me, they don't know me, but they know my music. They hate it, but they know it. She was really quite chuffed. So on the back of their bills, she wrote her very legibly signed her name, and then
I signed this because you're such big fans.
Yeah, I gave it to them. And it's I hear you're really big fans of my music, so I signed this. And yeah, they all had a good laugh, which I think is kind of hysterical.
Yeah, perfectly Canadian response.
And then less than 6 months later, Call Me Maybe comes out, and that's the end of that.
So did you guys watch her American Idol clips on YouTube or anything?
Canadian Idol.
Canadian Idol. I'm
Canadian
sorry.
Idol.
Yes, Canadian Idol.
No,
Yeah.
I did not. I did not want to bother with that because
Mhm.
I hate that fucking schlock.
So I did, and I'm watching this, and her initial song was a self-written song, and it was her style was so totally different than what she came up with later.
What was this out?
It was almost folksy that she auditioned with, and it was very affected. Like it was that one where you open your mouth as wide as you can and you sing the words overly mispronounced, like baby and stuff like that. You know, it's just,
really lick you.
yeah, well, something like that. But no, it's just it was like what they're doing. Oh, baby, baby, how was I?
Oh, baby.
Now, and Free Britney and all that fun stuff. But the over affected mispronunciation, I don't know why that happened, but she had that going on in a big way, and wound up, she still got in there because her pitch was on point, her tone was great, she could sing and play the guitar at the same time. And I think
Where she put guitar.
yeah, so I think the judges basically looked at her and went, we got a Canadian T-Swift here.
Not to mention the fact that she's got that manic pixie dream girl look that was so
and she's
popular
stupid
at the time.
attractive. She really was. I mean, like,
The
and
bangs. It's the
Still
bangs.
is.
Oh,
Still
yeah.
bangs.
The bangs don't hurt at all. Like, there's some girls who can pull off the bangs, and there's some girls who can't. She can, absolutely. She just, she's a great package. And once she lost that affected mispronunciation, I think that really helped her out. So, like, on Call Me Maybe, her enunciation was on point. And so with that song, it was out of nowhere basically for the world, but man, it climbed the charts quick.
But okay, so let's look at that song in itself. Actually, maybe before we go there, I find it interesting, that story, because I did not know that. But here's what I learned as I was reading about this particular song. I know the wife of the writer.
Which
Really?
writer?
The co-writer of the song.
There were two. Which one?
There were 3 writers in total: Carly Rae, her guitarist, and the guy they took it to, who came out of, what band was it?
Mariana's Trench.
Mariana's Trench, yes.
That's the one.
Josh something.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
Which is part of the reason why this song does have a pretty similar sound to Mariana's Trench.
I never met him, but so Andrea, when you knew the job I used to have in Jasper, right?
Yep.
Okay. His wife, who is his wife now, had the same job I had in Vancouver, which was station manager at for Rocky Mountaineer.
Cool.
Yeah, not exactly the nicest person I ever met her. So if you're watching, okay, you're okay. But if you're my first wife, hey, go fuck yourself.
That was surprising. I didn't see that coming.
Well,
I was trying to figure out what was going to come out of your hand, and
like every time you give him a Jack in the Box, he's like, "Ooh, handle."
No, it's funny because it's true.
I'm just saying, if the first person in the Buchner verse is sort of like looking on this, how's your life, bitch? Because it ain't better than mine. But anyway,
yeah, I mean, she doesn't get to hang out with me.
Well, there's that. Also, too, I saw what you look like now. You got 250-pound all great bitch. But anyway, moving on.
But tell me how you really feel, Kirk. Why don't you lay down on the couch here? I'll charge you $250 an hour, and you sound like you need to get some stuff off your chest.
Oh, no need. I already won.
Oh, okay.
All right, so let's get back to calling.
No therapy.
You don't want her
nuts.
to call you.
Like needed. I'm feeling pretty good.
So let's talk about the song. We were going to talk about the song.
Let's talk about songs, baby.
Okay, okay. This song, who however was put together, there's very few songs that I think are pure pop perfection.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is one of them. You've got you've got the great production, you've got the person to do this.
Considering this didn't come out of a Swedish hit factory, it's tight. No, I mean it has all the markings of a Swedish hit factory song.
The only thing, one of the surprising things about it is it's so simple. Pop songs are usually layered a little bit deeper, and this isn't. It's just some like riffy electronic strings, incredibly basic chorus, and then an incredibly basic verse structure, and then an incredibly catchy chorus.
Yeah,
but I think it's the right person to do this, because like, you've got to have, when you're doing this, okay, I just met you and this is crazy. Here's my number, call you maybe. You've got to have somebody who feels half, okay, she's got to be sexy, but she's also got to be
bashful,
shy. Britney Spears couldn't do this.
No, she's got to have a bit of innocence about her. She has to have that sort of that almost naivete about her. I can count on one hand and have a couple of fingers left over the amount of times that a woman has, and you never mind, the woman has actually, you know, approached me. And so for guys, this is great because that's what we want to hear, you know, and for women, it's great because that's that empowerment to go and do something like this. And then you get the video on top of that, which has her doing the kind of, if the
so the video's hilarious.
Yeah, if the genders were reversed, it would be a little bit creepier, but they're not. And you've got, like you were saying before, Andrea, this manic pixie dream girl who's peeking on her neighbor, mowing the lawn, and stripping his shirt off like a hot guy can do. I can't do that. For me, it just looks like an otter trying to get out of a wet
You've gone
paper
topless
bag.
on the show before.
I have, and I can do it quickly. It's just not sexy.
So let's talk about, I want to talk about the song a bit before we talk about the video, because I really feel that they're different things. And I think that both contributed to the popularity. But I think if you look at the song from separate from the video, you've got a girl who is obviously has some confidence. She's used to all the boys chasing her. She's used to, like, she doesn't understand why this dude isn't hitting on her. So she's gonna like bashfully go up and give him her number. But maybe, you know, if you want to, like, I don't
Here's my number.
Anything.
Call me maybe.
Maybe.
Just,
okay, but at the same time, it's there's very, very few songs about that. There's a billion songs of girls pining over guys, wishing they would come and talk to her. And there's very few, as Brad said, that where a woman actually takes initiative and does something. So it starts out with this like
not aggressive, which is also why it works.
Exactly, it's not aggressive. It's very demure and like, okay. So yeah,
I think Dream Girl style.
Manic Pixie Dream Girl. So that works. And then you have the video where she's a Manic Pixie Dream Girl, as you said, staring out the window at her hot neighbor. And her bandmates keep trying to put her into situations where he's going to notice her. And then he's out fixing his car. And so they give her a bucket, not a bucket and a mop, a bucket and a rag to wash her car.
Yep.
Did you wash my, wait, I don't have a car. No.
And I love the fact that she does it poorly and plays up the comedic aspect of it.
Yeah. And then falls off the car
and
has a little like romance novel cover fantasy for a few seconds.
Okay, did you notice in that when she was doing the creeping around in her bedroom looking at him, that there were romance novels on one of the tables in there?
Yes.
Okay, cool, because I thought that was kind of neat that it had a little throwback to that.
Yeah. And I also noticed when
they had the Hallmark channel on the background, which it wasn't, but
we don't talk about Hallmark.
Okay, did I just sort of like talk about enter something I shouldn't have?
It ruins Christmas.
Hey, Hallmark's lied to me. Every Hallmark movie, some, you know, girl with a career goes to a small town. There's a dog involved. And then some charming
Did you say dog?
and sweeps her off her feet. And
Not
I've
you.
moved to small towns. I have a dog. Where's the charming man to
Isn't he
realize
supposed
that
to
life
chop
is more
wood?
important than his career and come and sweep me off my feet?
He
He's
did.
supposed
He
to-
was just happened to be 80 years old and your next door neighbor.
He wasn't 80, and he certainly did not sweep me off my feet. Knocking on my door and being creepy at 9:30 at night is
Well,
not.
he tried to sweep you off your feet, but he couldn't carry you. His back was shot. Yeah, I met you like a few years ago.
Yo.
This was crazy. So, you know my number, so call me.
Take me off call block.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to.
I'm
He's supposed to
sorry.
be
I'm
out
sorry.
there
So if that
chopping
guy's
wood or
like
something,
watching-
Andrea. You got to
That
find
guy's
your.
watching along with my first wife. Hold on.
What's gonna happen? Oh, it was different this time. Okay,
Oh,
so
dear.
getting back to this, you got the
I
twist
doubt he's
ending.
watching, though. He probably doesn't understand technology enough to get a podcast.
Technology.
Am I going to be the one who puts this back on the rails? Because I don't like being
Apparently.
the responsible person in the room. I don't like it. It doesn't feel good.
It's the hack.
It's icky. So you get the twist ending going on for the video, which I won't spoil it for you if you haven't watched it. It's only from 2012, so I don't know what you're doing with your life. But anyway,
2011, isn't it? I thought it was
2012
10-year
it
was last year.
released.
Maybe it was 2012. Whatever. I believe you.
Oh, you should. I mean, I hardly
I'm
ever
gonna
lie.
spoil it for them. He's not interested in her. As she's writing her number down, he walks over and gives his number to one of the bandmates.
To the guitarist, the guy who helped write this song.
And I'm going to say that also because the expression on his face and the expression on her face are priceless.
Mm-hmm. What I got a kick out of is the guy who played the hot dude in this one was a former model, a wannabe rapper, a COVID conspiracy theorist, and all kinds of fun stuff. So if you look him up,
Look into him.
yeah, if you look him up a little bit,
What was this conspiracy?
that COVID was causing elite athletes to have their hearts ruptured in their chest. That's where the vaccine was.
I heard about that.
So it was very specific.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Elite athletes were having their hearts rupture within their chest because of the vaccine. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, not to take one side or the other of a perfectly rational scientific debate, but this guy's nuttier than banana cake. Anyway, banana bread.
So Carly
fruit
Rae
cake.
dodged a bullet, is what we're telling us.
Well, yeah. So anyway, this whole thing takes off, and I think she kind of struggled to match the same success. She got together with Owl City and did It's Always a Good Time or A Good Time.
I do like, which is a guilty pleasure. I really, because Tom Hanks is in that video.
Mm-mm.
I think that's kind of neat.
But she never matched the same success of Call Me Maybe.
No, but
couldn't.
she's had a decade career of being a musician and like making money off of her art. So I can't say she's
than the entire finalists of Canadian Idol put together.
Oh,
Here's a
100%.
Here's a story for you. I don't know if you know this.
Is it about a man named Brady?
No.
Oh,
he was married with
yeah,
3 boys of his own.
that's right. Living with 3 boys of his own.
I just picked up on what the hell you guys were laying out.
There are times Andrea and I share a brain. There are other times that she doesn't want to be in.
it's like I figured some kind of like fucking Muppet shit that you two know that I don't know.
It's time to get things started.
Anyway. So useless fact, right before Pauline and I got married, 6 months before her sister got married, and it was the winner of Indonesian Idol was sang at that wedding.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so like drunken me, I said, I bet you for like a 6-pack I could get the Canadian Idol winner. Maybe I could have for our wedding.
So she hasn't touched that level again. but
Well,
she's done all right
doing
for
well.
herself. Hey,
Very
she's doing
well.
okay. She bought a house in LA. She's been having some decent relationships and what have you. She put a studio into her house in LA. But
She's
I
a bit of
mean,
an underground pop idol, though. Like,
oh yeah.
she has a huge following still.
Mhm. And all of this from a young lady who grew up in Mission, BC. Mission being right across the river from the place where I wasn't born. I grew up. I was born in Mission, raised in Abbotsford, right across the river. And us Abbotsfordians always thought we were better than the Mission people.
The missionaries.
Yes.
The was it named after their sexual preference?
Missionary? Yes, that's
Basically, what
exactly what
we
they
know
did.
of Brad, probably not the case.
That's why I had to move to Abbotsford.
Okay. Wow. Wow.
At like 6 months old, dude.
The amazing thing is, anyone who's sort of like watching, I bet you that Brad is like 6 degrees of separation, of sexual separation from Carly Rae. I don't know how, but I bet it's possible.
Oh,
Maybe.
I'll have to tweet Carly Rae and get a list of all of her partners and see if we can map this out here, Kevin Bacon style.
It would not surprise me.
You think I'm that big of a slut, or you think that she's that big of a slut, or is it
Oh
because
no,
we
it's
grew
you.
up
Just
It's
because you
totally
grew
you.
up in adjacent communities.
Ah,
Oh
well,
no,
Abbotsford
no, I'm
was-
going with Brad as a slut.
I've been called
He
worse by better
wishes.
people. No, I've been called worse by better people.
However, know if there's a certain bass player in the Japanese band showing a knife. True story. But anyway, that's for another. It is. But anyway.
No, you had my
Moving
curiosity.
right
But
along.
now you have my attention.
That's sort of like that's after dark.
Oh, is that
After dark.
is that bucket list or is that
Well, that happened.
bucket list?
Anyway.
Oh.
But yes, but anyway.
Well then, you had your little brush
So-
with fame.
Are we done with Ms. Jepsen?
I think so. I'm not sure what we've got next week, if we can get the Cyndi Lauper crew. If we can't, Andrea, it's yours.
Oh, Gangnam Style.
That went number 1.
It did.
All right, awesome. All right.
Hang on,
Brad, are we sure though?
before we go, let's have a look here.
So I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure it did.
Okay.
Okay, Gangnam Style. There we go. I'm gonna do a quick bit of research here.
1 billion.
Where did it chart? Weekly charts, US.
Because I don't want to do BTS ever. Nothing against BTS. It's just like
I don't even know
Billboard
anything
Top
by
100. It only went to number 2.
Oh man. I pulled a Brad.
Yeah,
Okay,
how
alright,
does it
you know what?
feel? How does it feel?
How does it feel? Sorry.
All right. So
That
we
was
don't
my
know what we're
Miley
doing
impression.
next week, and that's
So-
okay.
Our next week's song will be TBA.
There you go. So with that, here's what's not TBD. To be determined. To be determined.
Jerker and Gerbs.
The Swedish Chef never went to number 1. I
Work,
guarantee
work,
that.
work. I like how Winnie made a little appearance for that.
Thank
Little
you.
cameo for Winnie.
So
Thank you.
you've proven that you can hold a dog, but Kirk, can you write a book?
Not only can I write a book, I can publish one, and it's on Amazon.
Oh,
Yes, it is. Chavagoro Instant Classic, get that now. Or don't, because like it's gonna be on what the Kindle shit soon. So there you go. It'll be cheap.
nothing wrong with a little bit of Kindle.
Yeah. A little bit of Kindle in my life. A little
We
bit
already
of
did that
Winnie
song.
in my life. A little bit of Monica. Here I
Did we
am.
do that? It's a terrible song.
Yeah, we did Mambo number 5.
Huh? I'm forgetting things. I'm getting old.
You are, yeah. Anyway, sorry. I'm proud of that book. I really am. So anyway, that's something you can check out. Somebody else who did something wrestling related, Chris Burdett, my good friend. Check out what he did. Chris, here's how Chris and I became friends. He did a documentary on the black wrestlers of the 1950s. So Lady Wrestler on Amazon, you check that out. And we just recorded our show on. This crap was on national television where we looked at Winnie. What did we look at? You were there. You were there for that. Do you remember what we did?
Tell us, Winnie.
Here's what we did. We did Battle of the Network Stars.
How'd that one go?
It was great. Yay! Sorry, that was sort of late. That was Winnie's impression of you, by the way.
Oh,
It was Winnie's
our
impression
arms have
of
to go up and be floppier.
Oh, okay.
I don't think dog arms get floppy.
All right.
Arms don't get
But yeah,
floppy.
that was there. Evan Nolan and I, we do the weekly Hall of Fame show. Lots of shows that I do. 4 more shows, because I don't have enough shit to do that are coming here on the non-Hall of Fame Buchnerverse. The Buchnerverse. So with that, wherever you are, wherever you may be, the Buchnerverse says, stay safe, everyone. See what I did there? Stay safe, everyone.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
What if they were?
They were.
They 100% were.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.